Welcome to our channel. Rosanne Cash discovers a mirror in new exhibit. To be seen is the most beautiful thing. Exclusive. The Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum honors the hit-making trailblazer and brings her to tears with its presentation of one pivotal life event. When the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum reached out to Rosanne Cash several months ago, telling her that she would be the subject of a new exhibit, she says that her first reaction was shock. "I said, me? Are you sure?" Cash, 69, tells People. "I didn't understand why they wanted to do it." For decades now, the one-time country hitmaker has been a stranger to the genre's charts, as well as to Nashville's wellspring, choosing instead to go her own way as a New York-based roots singer-songwriter. Still, Cash knew better, of course, than to turn down the Nashville Museum's attentions, and she opened her heart, as well as her cache of keepsakes, to the process. The exhibit is now newly opened, and on Wednesday, Cash discovered for herself just how deftly it has answered her question, why her? In the sweep of its semicircular space, the artifacts, images, and words vividly tell the story of a fascinating musical trailblazer who first challenged the commercial conventions of country in the 1980s. With a fresh sound that mixed LA country and soft rock, she topped the charts with 2 albums and 11 singles, including signature songs like 7-Year Ache and Blue Moon with Heartache. In 1988, she was Billboard's top singles artist. Then, in the early 1990s, she boldly escaped conventions altogether, reinventing herself in New York as a singer-songwriter of profound introspection, turning herself into a founder of what has become the Americana movement. Her inventiveness has continued through the years with such seminal albums as The Wheel, The List, and Grammy winner The River and The Thread. Throughout it all, Cash has been both burdened and emboldened by her legacy, for there is no escaping the fact that she is the daughter of country cornerstone Johnny Cash. She herself tried to run from her heritage in her early career. At 23, "I thought I was completely original, cut off from the past, from my legacy," she said in her remarks to the throng of friends, family, and industry insiders who gathered at the museum for a private reception on Wednesday. "Today I treasure that legacy and the traditions I built on. The experiences I thought I had nothing to learn from are those that left the deepest mark." Her father's presence, as well as his deep love for his daughter, weaves its way through the exhibit, although notably missing is the now legendary list of 100 country and roots songs that he deemed essential to her musical education. Presented to her when she was 18, she drew from it for the 12 tracks on her 2009 album, The List, but she has never revealed its entirety. Though she says she intends for it to eventually reside in the museum's archives, it was off-limits for the exhibit. "I didn't want to share something that personal," she explains to People. "For that matter," she adds, "it's now also off-limits to her. It's in my file somewhere," she says. "I've hidden it from myself for the moment." Museum writer-editor R.J. Smith, who co-curated the exhibit, isn't bothered by its exclusion. "It's almost more powerful for being out of reach for us. Besides, there are so many other surprising and revealing treasures in the narrative that unspools from early childhood on." Cash was happy to share another personal playlist, created by her mother, Vivian Liberto, of her favorite love songs, including Willie Nelson's Always on My Mind and Frank Sinatra's I Got You Under My Skin. Also on display are samples of handwritten correspondence from her dad. In one from 1984, he confesses his pain and guilt over leaving her after his 1967 divorce from her mother, and he also affirms, "Where you stand with me in my mind is as an equal. I have a love for you that knows no bounds." Standing before the exhibit, Rosanne Cash gazes at the 3 pages, torn from a spiral notebook, now behind glass for all to see. "Oh," she says with a sigh. "So sweet. That's just a father's unconditional love." But as heart-tugging as the letter is, the portion of the exhibit that Cash says brought her to tears is its centerpiece, a writing desk given to her by her father. On it sits an artful plaster cast of her hands, her own writing tools, and an expressive drawing of Cash's silhouette that inspired one of her album covers. Above the desk hangs a placard that describes a life-altering dream she had one night in the late 1980s, the impetus that made her question everything about her commercial career. Behind that hangs a curtain of cloth streamers, perhaps signifying the uncharted musical wilderness she was about to enter in that phase of her timeline.